What's up guys, it's Michael here. In this video we're going to talk about, is it worth it for you to become more minimalistic in your lifestyle? So what it means, breaking it down, I've seen a lot of people are now starting this trend, now removing clutter in their daily lives, meaning removing most of their furniture, they're changing the habits, what they do, they're basically getting rid of everything. And I feel like most people that break it down is like, oh, you should get rid of everything. Like for example, in a Tesla, how they removed almost every single feature, all the buttons, everything. They threw it all into a screen. They slapped it all into one, so you have a lot of room. And in a way, yes, that is true. It can help you optimize better performance and your workflow activity. But in the same time, I think that people didn't explain it in a way that if you remove everything, it basically becomes really bored. Instead of helping your workflow activity improve your productivity, it actually hinders it because it feels like something in your life is actually missing. So I'm gonna break down what you should do and what you should not do when it's whether for you should become minimalistic or not. So the whole idea behind it is remove unnecessary clutter. So the first thing you do for most day and age, such as you're watching my video right now, is look around you. So you're on the computer, you have, your keyboard, your mouse, maybe speakers, a headset, maybe some other stuff around you. But if you have like a lot of trash, like napkins, food and stuff, maybe, clean it up a bit. Make it more spacious and open. That's one way you can be more minimalistic. The reason why behind it is to give you a more calmer feeling. This includes colors you actually see in your room. So if you paint your room like multiple colors, or you have a bunch of like LEDs flashing everything, and when you're actually trying to be productive in a way, it actually could hinder you. In some cases, it will help other people, but in most cases, for myself example, it can actually hinder me. But sometimes, persistence is the key. You can actually go past that, break that barrier. And I find most day and age, if you want to become more minimalistic, is getting rid of the things you actually don't use. So for example, impulse buying. So most day and age, people around my age, I believe I'm the millennial age, and you have, Generation Z, Y, whatever they call it, who knows what they name it. But most people, they don't use TVs. The older generation still uses TVs, but the younger generation, TVs is more like becoming more of a history. Even people using console, they don't really use TVs as much. They still use it, don't get me wrong, but monitors are becoming the way to go. You sit closer, you can hook up your computer and consoles on there. It makes it way easier. And not to mention, it's way cheaper compared to large screen TVs. So, getting rid of TVs, it could be one habit. Getting rid of furniture you don't use. Maybe, for example, you get a really nice looking couch and you realize, I don't really use it that much, then what's the point of even owning it? Because if you do move place to place, now more people are not becoming the workforce, and what the millennial age is, they find out that certain places is not really viable to live there anymore because it's way too expensive, so they're moving to another states. And this only applies to the United States. I don't know how it affects other countries and how other people's lifestyles are, but if they move from place to place, you gotta move all your furniture out. So basically think about all the furniture. So you think about it, a sofa, TV itself, it's a couple $100 if you buy it. And people say you should, just make your own. Yeah, if you make your own, you like it, then that's great. But if you make your own, you don't like it, then in a way, minimalistic is not right for you. So to break it down is to break down minimalistic on things that you do not use. So things you often do not use every day, and things that you rarely interact with, at least like once a month, I believe you should not be using. So some people say clothing is one minimalistic object you shouldn't do. You should like always reduce your cutback spending on clothing. I actually disagree with that. Clothing itself, it really depends on a couple factors. So one of the factors, if you go on work as a job as an employee, then clothing is necessary. So if you get all the clothing and you wear, or like for example, I've actually seen some YouTubers that I only wear one color of clothing. So but they work at home, so that doesn't matter for them. Like he doesn't have to interact with that many people besides the internet. But if you work on like a business, a corporation, you wear the same clothing every day and you have like no different colors, people like actually see you differently. Instead, they'll actually hinder your performance instead of helping your performance. So you got to think about whether it affects you and does the situation apply to you. If it doesn't apply to you, then just toss it out. Another one for minimalistic factor. Some people say maybe, oh, I can just use a computer, and you only use like one monitor, but you do like workstation stuff, like basically you edit videos like I do, and you only use one monitor, and you use like a really cheap computer. Because I spoke with some people who are in the older generation. They tell me, oh, one monitor is good, and like for example would be my dad. He always argues with me that one monitor is good compared to having multiple monitors. Why you need more than one for editing? And I explain to him that if you have more than one monitor, you can actually split up your workflow. Your workflow can be way more efficient, which he does not understand. So being minimalistic isn't always the right option to take. It really depends on what it suits you. So the only ways at the end to break it down, whether being a minimalistic is the right for you, is look at whatever affects you in daily life. So anything you use will be one factor. Colors will be another factor. The reason why I say colors is really important because colors can affect the way you look at things. So if you go in a room that's really bright, has bright colors, but bright colors without flashing everywhere, but just pretty solid color. For example, white. A lot of people use white, blue, maybe even black. Some people say black mixed with other colors is actually really soothing and calming. So these colors is another factor. And number three, whether or not that you can make it really productive. For example, people say getting a new computer, what's the point? It's not productive. In reality, if you put it to good use, then it can be really productive. It can actually make you more income instead of, becoming a liability. Another example would be a camera. You get a really expensive camera, and you said, oh, other people say, it's such a waste of money. Why don't you get your cheaper one? But the more expensive one, if you can use its features to its advantage. For example, this video I'm shooting on, the camera, is on the A7S III. And the reason why I went with that one instead of the cheaper $1,000 camera, Canon, is because in this video, I can shoot in low light sources. And I do shoot videos in low light sources. For example, this video is taken is actually a really dim room. I was able to boost the ISO and boost the brightness on here to make it look really bright. That's another example. So whether being minimalistic is the correct option you should take, I believe more people in their life, with social media, their phone, they're always on there. They should cut back, but not cut back to the point where it actually will hinder your performance. Maybe take it slowly. Take it step by step. So if you take it step by step, then you will realize the changes that it will affect you in the future. I hope you like this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on my channel. Peace.